Hi, and welcome to this week's episode of Mountain Outhouse. I'm your host, Jamil Curry. This week, we talk cannabis use in ultramarathons, the evolution of the beer mile taking to the mountains, the Olympics, and the results from the Leadville 100. And we head back to our Colorado correspondents for more news from real-life ultramarathons. Our first story comes from Ouray, Colorado, and the Ouray 100. The race director has been vocal about his anti-doping policies and is going to be drug testing this year's winners. According to their website, they will be testing for multiple banned substances by the World Anti-Doping Association, which falls under their USA Track and Field event permit. Coincidentally, this year's winner of the Ouray 100, Avery Collins, also from Colorado, is one of the most vocal supporters of cannabis use in training for ultramarathons. It is not known whether he actually used cannabis products during the Ouray 100, but he is sponsored by multiple companies. The Ouray 100 website states that failed drug tests will result in prize money taken away from the athlete and potentially other sanctions. We don't know if marijuana or THC is on that banned list or not, but we'll be following this story as it develops. Moving on to our next story. Now, we've seen an explosion in the number of beer miles happening, both on the recreational and the elite level. We have the World Beer Mile Championships, now sponsored by FlowTrack, which is a track and field media website, to craft beer races, where people literally pay to run organized beer miles in cities and states around the country. This week, we've seen a new development thanks to runner Patrick Sweeney, the self-proclaimed president of the International Beer Mile Association. He's branched out to introduce a new format as part of the US Sky Drinker series. His exhibition beer mile earlier this week on Hope Pass paved the way for a brand new sport, sky drinking. Now, following up with Patrick's exhibition this week, we have coverage from the first ever US Sky Drinker series race, the Kendall Mountain Beer Mile Sky Race. We go live to our correspondent Jubilee, who has that story.
Thanks, Jamil. So we're out here in Silverton, Colorado, where competitors are getting ready to race up some steep in the first ever US Sky Drinker Series.
Thank you for that thrilling story, Jubilee. The Leadville 100 was this past weekend. Ian Sharman took home his third victory and second straight win with a time of 16:22, his best on the course, and fourth all time. Congratulations, Ian. Ian, of course, is head coach of Sharman Ultra Endurance Coaching, and we congratulate you on a job well done. Ian's also the series director for the US Sky Runner series, and it is yet to be seen if he has any involvement in the US Sky Drinker series. Leadville is the third race in the Grand Slam of ultrarunning. If you don't know what that is, wake up, people. We've got the Western States 100, what is the second one? The Vermont 100, the Leadville 100, and the Wasatch Front 100. These are the four oldest 100-mile races in the country. Each summer, a set of athletes attempts to complete all four, within about a 2-month span. It is quite the feat. 4 100-mile foot races, one summer, one heart, one head. Now, we had about 36 entrants this year in the Grand Slam, according to the Run 100's website, which also lists a flurry of other slams. We've got the Pancake Slam, we have the Death Slam, we have the... I don't even know I'm making these up, actually. But there legitimately are about 20 slams on their website. One of those is called the Super Slam. This is a race that consists of up to 6 mountain hundreds, all in the latter half of the summer. There was a resurrection of this concept, since no one has completed it in a few years, to actually create a slam of hard rock qualifier races, all in the month of September. There's about 7 or 8 of these. I just have to ask one question. Why? 100-mile races are a delicacy in the world of ultrarunning. I think that we all need to take a little bit of a step back and focus ourselves a little bit more. I mean, I, for one, want to be running these things for the next 30 years. Let's not burn ourselves out in one summer. Also, it only takes one Hard Rock qualifier to qualify for the Hard Rock Lottery. You don't need to run 8 in the summer. With the Wasatch Front coming up here in just a couple weeks, we will have some live correspondent coverage of that race to see if the 19 remaining slammers get it done in Utah on a Friday night with 4% beer. I think it's only 3% beer. I'm not sure, but we'll see what happens. The closing ceremonies of the 2016 Olympic Games in Rio happened last night, which brings us to this week's segment of the Dump of the Week. One of the biggest pet peeves of ultrarunners everywhere is that ultramarathons are not in the Olympics. Or are they? As we learned last week, pedestrianism is practically dead, but thankfully it is still an Olympic sport. The 50-kilometer race walk. One of the most uncomfortable sports to watch in all of the Olympics, men waddling down hot streets in Rio. To make it more uncomfortable, this week's Dump of the Week goes to Johan Dinnes, world record holder in the race walk, literally shit his pants during the 50K race walk. If only he had been coached by Leadville 100 winner Ian Sharman and his coaching service, Sharman Ultra, he would not have been in this mess. We have a new segment for you this week. It's called our Shout Out of the Week. This shout out of the week goes to the Old Guard Geezers, headed by none other than Gary Cantrell, aka Lazarus Lake. This hardy band of longtime ultrarunners are really the watchdog of our sport. They caught wind of Robert Young's TransCon attempt. Now, it seemed too good to be true, and when a Let'sRun.com board commenter went out there with a video camera, he could not find Young on the road, but instead saw his RV creeping along the path at 5 miles an hour through the night with no runner to be found. It raised some suspicions. Now, using crowdfunding, these team of 4 to 6 Old Guard runners took it upon themselves to go out and see exactly what's going on with Robert Young. You can read the full story on ultrarunning.com. It's a fascinating article written by Laz himself, exposing what they found. Making the rounds on the internet this week is an online poll. Which ultrarunner are you? We noticed one shocking problem with this quiz, and that's the fact that women apparently are omitted from this quiz. Doesn't address any of our women's concerns. So we say to you, Gunks Runner, where are the women at? We would be remiss not to mention the latest with Jim Walmsley this week. We have 2 developments. One, his new sponsor Hoka has a brand new shoe coming out. We have a quick review for you from Whiskey Man.
When I'm a runner, I want gear that works, and Hoka works. That's why I represent gear. Have you ever felt like you want to be Wayne Gretzky? These are really designed to just be the ultimate in comfort, in ability, in speed, in pillows for your feet. Hoka 3.0.
Wow, can't wait to get my feet in those brand new Hokas. Also on the Walmsley front, it seems the Walmsley effect has taken to the Olympics. Seems the athletes from Nike are already wearing shirts with holes in them. Thank you for tuning into this week's telecast. Next week we'll be coming to you live from Chamonix, France, where we cover the Ultra Trail du Mont Blanc. Have a week.
These competitors behind me are getting ready to go up the steepest beer mile, the world's steepest beer mile. Where they'll go up a mile and drink a beer and then come back on down and drink some more, where they're just gonna run some steep and drink some
It's a 100-meter dash going circles.